right. Yeah, those were tough times.
So Lucian was the youngest?
Youngest.
Youngest brother.
And he went to watchmaker school. He was the only kid that got to go to college, I guess.
Oh. Yeah, I suppose. There wasn't enough money for all of them. But then he was able to take that trade and work it from was it a grocery store your dad bought, or?
It was really a confectionery store, and it was on the borderline of Grosse Pointe Park, and it was across the street from the Grosse Pointe Park Municipal Fire Station and Police Station,
Mm-hmm.
and around the corner from a large public school and a large Catholic school called St. Ambrose, where my dad was Sunday usher every Sunday. And
Was that your parish then? Did you guys go to church at St. Ambrose?
yes, and we lived 6 miles north in Altmack Avenue, which was towards Port Huron. And we lived in a little town called Lockmore. And the main intersection there was Burner Road, or which was later became 8 Mile Road,
Mm-hmm.
and Mack Avenue. Mack Avenue ran kind of parallel to the Lake St. Clair shoreline, which is about a mile east. And when we moved there, 4 houses went up on Hampton Road, and then the Depression hit. Nothing changed probably for 10 years then.
10 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a long depression and slow recovery. And I managed to buy an old car because I wanted to go to De La Salle Collegiate for high school.
Do you remember what kind of car you bought?
And I bought the first car I bought was a 1929 Essex. And it had a rumble seat in it.
Oh, yeah?
Didn't have a full cab, but it was great for peddling papers.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
And I had 3 paper routes, but they were 2 shopping newses that came out twice a week, and the Grosse Pointe Review, which took 2 days to deliver. The Grosse Pointe Review was served all the Grosse Pointes, and I had a good part of that territory. And I got a $4 or $5 a week out of all those papers, but I had 3 days a week off, out of 7 off. Yeah, which I used with other jobs I got, and my dad always had a list of jobs for me, but I had a very happy education and paid my way through high school, and I wanted to go to De La Salle Collegiate, which was a boys' high school run by the Christian Brothers, and because my older cousin went there, Rennie, who was a pilot, and so he was my hero, you know. And when Rennie was alive, he married Addie, and the 2 of them bought an airplane and owned it. So he used to fly out to see me, and we'd land and take off and fly all over. Flew up to Lake Huron, and
Does that look like your car?
it's an Essex, yeah.
That's a 28X Essex Coupe.
Yep. Sure, it had a rumble seat in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my gosh. Where did you ever find that picture?
Oh, that's that darn computer. It's hooked up to the internet, and there isn't anything you can't find.
I don't recognize the stuff around it, but...
Well, that's not your car, but these are just some pictures that are on the internet of the old Essex coupes. There's a nice one there.
Yeah. Look at that.
Lighting's
something?
terrible there. Yep. Trying to take pictures, but I'm not doing a very good job because the lighting's so bad. Ooh, there's a good angle. Are those heaters working for you?
Yeah, I'm turning it down.
So tell me about St. Ambrose. That was your parish.
Well, St. Ambrose Church was in Grosse Pointe Park, right near our little, we had a variety store there. We sold groceries, and we had a soda fountain, and cigarettes and cigars, tobacco. And we took in laundry, Palace Model Laundry outlet, and we had the fire and police department across the street, and St. Ambrose Catholic School, and St. Ambrose Church, and that was the municipal head of Grosse Pointe Park. We lived in what was called Lockmore, which later became Grosse Pointe Woods. And that was 8 Mile Road and Mack Avenue area. And Grosse Pointe Park was Maryland and Jefferson area, which was the end of the Detroit Street Railroad line to downtown Detroit, which is 6 miles away, and which ran all the way downtown Detroit, and also the railroad ran all the way up 8 Mile Road to Woodward Avenue, which is 8 miles up. So it was a pretty central place to live.
Did you go to school at?
I went to, in grade school, I went to a parochial school called St. Paul's that was on Lake St. Clair.
Oh, so you didn't go to St. Ambrose as a student?
I did for the first and second grade, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Is that when you got involved with the priest there and started working as an altar boy? Was it at St. Ambrose that you were?
No, it was the Father Fillion at St. Joan of Arc.
Oh, okay.
He was a real Irishman, and I served Mass every day for him, and all the funerals and weddings and so on.
That ended up being a pretty good
He
relationship.
used to come over and pick me up and take me to things, and ball games, Tiger games, you know. He loved the Tigers, and Detroit baseball was real. Well, they won pennants in those days.
Well, they won a pennant this year. Did you know that?
Yeah, I guess I do.
Pretty impressive.
And my oldest cousin, Rennie, was Uncle Harry's only child. And he went to De La Salle, that's why I went there. And he graduated before I was old enough to go to De La Salle, because De La Salle started in the 9th grade, and he was 4 years older than I was. So, then he married Addie. She was also a pilot. Met her through flying, I guess. And they had an airplane that they owned and flew all over. And fact is, he's take it apart in the wintertime and fly it up to Port Satellite and put it in Uncle Harry's garage for the winter. Take it all apart and put it in the garage.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Was that a bi-wing? Did it have 2 wings?
2 wings, yep. Yeah, we used to fly all over in it.
Wow.
Yeah, we would fly there to Detroit and back and all the time. He'd fly over the guys and drop a roll of papers on the front lawn with a note in it.
Mm-hmm.
Buzz us a couple times, and then we get in the car and drive up to their place and where he landed.
Could he land right by Uncle Harry's house up
Yeah,
there?
At a farmer's field that he landed and take off from.
Nice.
Yep.
Did he ever have a seaplane?
Yep, he did.
Oh, really?
Yep, he had a seaplane. Oh, yeah, he had all kinds of planes.
Huh.
And Eddie was a pilot too.
His wife?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He met her through flying school, I think.
Sort of like Maureen O'Connor, your niece.
Yeah.
She was a pilot. And then,
But I used to fly with him quite a bit. Yeah, he and Addie and I, we'd fly all over the thumb of Michigan.
boy, that had to be some fun adventures. You
Oh,
were pretty
yeah.
young too.
Oh yeah, it was. And the thing about it is, as long as I was running, it was okay with my parents because they trusted him.
Yeah.
Which they probably should have, because he was very
Very
responsible. Yes.
Well, it seems like I heard a story about him buzzing under the Blue Water Bridge one
Yeah,
time.
he
though.
did that. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He did do that, and which was surprising that he would, but he did, because he was pretty much following the laws otherwise.
Well,
It
and
was
maybe
too that was something daring, and he had to do it.
I was going to say maybe it was a foggy day and he couldn't see very well.
Well,
That might have been the story he told him. Huh?
I don't know.
Well, you didn't end up flying a lot of airplanes in your life. You did get into flying the radio-controlled ones, but I think the only reason that you didn't get a pilot's license is because you had heart trouble, and they wouldn't let you pass the medical
I
part.
didn't pass the medical for pilot's license, but I did get in the U.S. Army Air Force.
That's right. That's right. You spent a lot of time in airplanes.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time flying, and I can remember flights over Florida and South America.
They used to send you on target runs, shooting,
Yes.
bombing targets.
We would drop targets in the ocean and then bomb them.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it was with the new bombing technology that
Yep. Yep.
your secret group developed, right?
HAB, high altitude bombs they call them.
Yeah. And those bombs were really the first generation of radio controlled.
We could only carry 2 5,000-pound bombs aboard a bomber.
That's a lot. That's 10,000 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of
One
explosives.
One under each wing.
Boy, that was quite a ride.
So, and what we'd go get up to altitude, like 18,000 feet would be our bombing altitude. And we'd get up there, and I was a bombardier.
Mm-hmm.
And we would let one bomb go. And immediately my screen would light up, and I was like sitting on the bomb. And we dropped the bomb with the instruments we had for direct hit without any navigation at all. But as soon as we let the bomb out, the camera came on the bomb, and my screen lit up. I had controls. I had a little stick, and I get the target on there, and I could put the target in the center of the screen. I would steer that thing right into the target. At 4 miles up, I could hit a target.
So you had a TV camera on the bomb,
On the bomb. Yeah.
and you had radio control of the wings and stuff,
Yep.
so you could actually
We had
glide the bomb into your target.
it was called a glide bomb. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a 5,000-pound bomb. It was probably a foot in diameter and 10 feet long, full of black gunpowder, the whole thing. So we had 2 of those. So we had to have a long runway to get that off the ground.
When they released that bomb, what did it do to the airplane? Did the airplane suddenly jump
Oh
up?
yeah, oh yes. it did.
Wow,
Yeah, yeah.
that had to be a thrill.
We couldn't drop 2 of them at once. We had to do one at a time, and that was difficult because we lost that weight all of a sudden on one side. So we had to be very careful what we did.
Yeah.
We had to practice various weights with sand until we got
Oh.
learned how to control the airplane.
Yeah, yeah.
And I remember I was at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida doing those practices. And my position was a bombardier.
And weren't you also involved in the development of
Yeah.
that bomb technology?
Yes, I was. And you know, they sent me to MIT for almost a year, Illinois Institute of Technology for almost a year,
Mm-hmm.
and St. Mary's College in Winona, Minnesota. So I got a good share of my college education, through the
In
government,
service.
through the
Yeah.
government. And, didn't cost me anything.
Oh, here. You looking for a Kleenex?
Yeah,
I moved you.
so
Moved
it
your
was a
bag.
pretty good deal. By the same token, my dad, my parents were very supportive of all that stuff. And, their son Rennie went to a boys' high school run by the Christian Brothers called De La Salle Collegiate in Detroit. So that's naturally where I went.
Oh, you had to go where Rennie went.
Yeah, Rennie was 4 years older than I was, so, but, his picture was on the wall in the halls there, and so I was famous.
Was Rennie involved in any sports or anything like that when he was
Oh,
there?
yeah, he was very active,
Yeah.
and his wife was too.
He just sounds like quite a guy. It's
He
too
was.
bad we lost him. Now, he died in the war, right?
Mhm, yeah. He was killed over Midway Island.
Flying a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. What a loss.
Well, they nearly destroyed Harry,
Was he Harry's only child?
only child.
Oh,
So Harry left the church, he was so mad.
wow.
He was very devout Catholic.
Well, you all were.
And my sister Agnes took on the deal of getting Harry back in the church. It took her almost a lifetime to do it, but she did. She got him back in.
Good old Ag.
But Rennie went to De La Salle. That's the one went to De La Salle.
And to go to De La Salle, that you had to come up with tuition money, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is that what the paper routes were for?
Yep.
And I mean, you must have been like 15 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So you were 15 years old, you were working 3 paper routes, making enough money to buy a car and to go to a private Catholic high school. You were quite ambitious at that age,
Yep.
and it never slowed down. By the time I got to know you, you already had 4 kids and I was your 5th. And you were going to college then to finish your engineering degree.
Yep.
And working all day and trying to raise a family and go to school at night.
Then I went to MIT, Illinois Tech, Morris Tech.
Didn't you go up to Canada for a while too? Didn't
Yeah.
they have some
Yeah.
stuff they wanted you to study on the radar systems up there?
Interesting life.
And then you used all those skills, and you and a team of guys, and it was a secret team, right? Developed putting a camera, because TV was really new, putting a camera on a bomb, and then the radio control to control the ailerons and
Yeah.
rudders. That was all really, new
Yep.
technology to try and apply it to that application.
I remember.
Cold up, way up at 18,000 feet. How did they keep those circuits and stuff warm? Because they didn't have transistors, it was all tubes.
I don't remember smoking cigarettes. We light a cigarette and hold it in front of the bomb and move it around. You
Oh.
could see the eye move.
It
you
would
know.
follow the,
Mhm.
the heat or the light, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
there were a lot of hurdles to make that technology work. But that's kind of what engineering's always been about, is, doing things that are seemingly impossible and just breaking it down into smaller steps and overcoming each hurdle and making it all work together.
It was very interesting too.
Well, today's modern warfare relies heavily on radio-controlled bombs. They now, where you were up in the airplane dropping the bomb and then working the joystick,
Yeah.
now they've got guys in, that one wasn't on the floor long, in California or Nevada, at a computer station with a joystick, and they're launching airplanes to drop bombs and do surveillance on the other side of the world, where there are wars going on, like in Afghanistan. And that's really just, you know, more refinements of the original idea that you and your team put together in the 1940s. That ended up being an amazing piece of technology. I would say that that technology was as important as the development of aircraft carriers in being able to take off and land airplanes on ships. That was the other huge change that occurred in our lifetime in warfare. And now, they just do amazing things with radio-controlled bombs. And not just bombs, they also do all kinds of surveillance, and you know, they can get in and do things and no risk to human life. It's amazing. Did you know when you were a kid in Lockmore that you wanted to be an engineer?
No?
Just kind of led you that way.
Yeah.
Well, it sure worked out well. Because you and I ended up having an engineering business together.
That's right.
In fact, it's still running now. There's a lot of people working there. As we sit here and talk about it, you need to use the restroom?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there goes that one. You should probably take your wheels with you. I'll bring them over for you.
Great.
Ooh.